The 2024 housing market was nothing short of wild and sluggish. We came from years of unprecedented growth, rock bottom interest rates, and high buyer demand to a year that really kind of felt like it hit a brick wall. While some predicted a housing crash, and frankly, haven't they been predicting housing crashes for the past, 4 or 5 years? That's yet to happen, but they continue to predict a housing crash due to rising interest rates. That didn't happen. Most experts agreed that we were going to see a stabilization of pricing. That definitely did happen, and there were some areas that went up, there were some areas that went down, and there were some areas that just stayed flat. My name is Kelly Allen, and I've been helping people move into the Metro Atlanta area now for 26 years. Before we get into 2025 predictions, I'd like to do a recap of what happened in 2024. And I think one question that a lot of people have is, what happened with prices in 2024? If you were in the market, you definitely felt a change in the real estate market. It began to really become sluggish beginning in the springtime, and it really lasted through till right about the election. But the numbers are in, and prices did continue to go up in Metro Atlanta, 4.7%. Now, an interesting fact about the Metro Atlanta market is that over the last 30 years, the historic average for home prices has been between 3 and 5%, depending on the area. Cobb County, North Fulton County is on the high end of that, whereas more of the outlying metro areas inside the city and below are on the lower end of that. One of the biggest pieces of news and biggest changes that we saw and had a direct impact on prices not going up faster and higher was the inventory that came on the market and stayed on the market. So inventory in the Metro Atlanta area went up 36% year over year. Now, it still means that we're in a seller's market. We have about 3 months of inventory. Now, something else that we saw were that homes stayed on the market longer in 2024. Now, I'm going to tell you, it was still a median of 16 days. However, it was very common for homes to be sitting on the market for longer than that at unrealistic prices, and they just continue to linger on the market week after week after week. 2024 was the year that sellers had to get their starting price right. And if they didn't, then they were going to be penalized by extremely long days on market, as well as coming off of their list price more than they thought they would need to. Speaking of the list price, the median seller got 98.4% of their original asking price, and almost half of the homes listed had to reduce their price before they got a contract. That was the most price negotiation that we've seen since 2020. And so the buyers who were brave enough to enter the market despite the high interest rates were rewarded by getting money off the price and getting their closing costs paid. Now, let's talk about interest rates. So in January 2024, mortgage interest rates averaged 6.34% according to Zillow. From there, they increased through the spring, but by September had dropped to 6%. However, we were getting really close to the election, and even though we did see a bump up in activity and new pending contracts, a lot of people still chose to sit on the sideline because we had such a contentious election cycle just about to happen. So mortgage rates are in this high 6% right now. Okay, so let's get into some predictions. Now, I feel like I have to asterisk this with, these are my predictions. So let's talk about demand, rates, and supply, and some other things that are coming into the Metro Atlanta area in 2025 and 2026 that I feel is going to have a major impact on home values and demand. So everything is going to hinge on what happens to mortgage interest rates, not interest rates, not what the Federal Reserve does, but what mortgage interest rates do. I personally think that we're going to see mortgage interest rates stay around 6.5% for most of 2025. I don't think we're going to have a meaningful rate drop until 26 or 27. Here's why. Mortgage interest rates are affected by bond investors, not what the Fed does with interest rates. When investors are worried about inflation, then bond yields tend to go up, and that's what drives mortgage interest rates up. When investors see sign of a recession, then bond rates go down, driving interest rates down. We have two things happening right now. We've got inflation worries, yet we have a pretty strong economy happening. And because of that, we are going to probably see mortgage interest rates stay in the 6s. Once things eventually start to settle, then maybe we'll begin to see a new normal of around 5.5 or 5.75 again, but that's probably not going to be until 26 or 2027. Let's play this out. Let's take two roads. first road is if mortgage interest rates do go down, okay? And I mean a meaningful drop. I mean somewhere between, let's say, 5.5 and maybe the high fives, okay? If that happens, then you are going to see demand shoot up. Because think about it. We've had now over 2 years of buyers sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to go down so that it will make them confident and comfortable enough to get into the market. They are still sitting there. They are waiting on a rate drop. That's all they're waiting on. What rate drop they're waiting on, we have no idea. However, I really think that if it's got a 5 in front of it, that we are going to see a drove of buyers come out, which will mean that some of them will need to sell their homes as well. So that should create a little bit more inventory, but I do predict that we're going to get back into a serious demand versus supply situation that is going to favor sellers and not favor buyers. There will not be enough inventory to keep up with the demand if rates get into the 5s. So let's take that second road. Let's say that mortgage interest rates do kind of settle around 6.5 and they pretty much stay there. I think once buyers get out of the new year and they're getting into the spring market, we are going to see more buyers enter the market that we've seen in the last 2 years. For those buyers who have been sidelined, they've been living in whatever situation they're living in that is not serving them. And I do not know what's going to happen with interest rates or the pricing or anything like that, but here's what I do know. I know human beings, and I know that we will put up with something for a certain amount of time, but eventually, no matter what's happening in the world or with interest rates, we are going to change our situation for the better. And I think that we've got enough buyers out there that they're going to be ready to do that. So demand will go up. Hopefully inventory will continue to go up a little bit more, but we could see a little bit more of a competitive market for buyers in 2025. I think we're going to look back and realize that 2024 was probably the year that buyers were getting the best deals on homes in terms of negotiation, flexibility terms, and things like that. I think 2025 is going to be a little more competitive, a little more demanding for buyers. So I think no matter what happens, we're going to see slightly more sales in 2025. We will continue to see increasing prices as well. And I think, again, we're going to see increasing buyer demand. I also predict that we are going to see more new construction coming to especially the North Metro Atlanta area. Now, as a nation, Realtor.com has a 2025 housing forecast, and they believe that single family home starts are going to improve over 2024. The organization predicts that builders are going to construct about 1.1 million homes nationwide, which is nearly a 14% increase. And I think that the North Metro Atlanta area is going to find very similar stats. Already, we are seeing so many new construction starts around North Fulton County, Cobb County, especially West Cobb County, and then Cherokee County getting into Canton and Woodstock. That's not even counting the new construction that's being started in further north areas like Gainesville, Ball Ground, Pushton, some of those areas. There are 3 new construction projects that I'm watching closely and I'm really excited about. The first is Sanctuary in Canton. So Sanctuary is in downtown Canton, Georgia. It is located in the foothills of the North Georgia Mountains in the equestrian-rich zone of East Cherokee County. I think that people are going to flock here, especially empty nesters, because you've got low Cherokee County taxes and you have a senior tax exemption that, although it did just change, it takes 5 years to get your massive property tax exemption. I think people are going to be ready and willing to wait it out. Then another development that I'm very excited to see come out of the ground is going to be in downtown Crabapple. So downtown Crabapple is in North Fulton County. It's nestled right in between Alpharetta and Milton, and there's so much to do there. This development is not even named yet, but it is going to be within walking distance of Milton and Crabapple. It's going to be breaking ground in Q1 of 2025. And will feature 0 lot lines, which basically means there's going to be no yards, and it's going to start at 1.6 million. And the plans are going to range from 3,400 to about 4,200 square feet. The third development that I'm really excited about that is already built and in the middle of its construction is Sterling Point. Sterling Point is located in Cumming in South Forsyth County. And Sterling Point is built by 2 builders, Toll Brothers and John Whelan Homes. And it really has something for everything. If you're an empty nester, John Whelan has master on main options. If you are not an empty nester, then both builders have plenty of different floor plans for you. Homes here start at 1.2 million and they go up to over 1.6 million. I would hurry up and get in now though. Toll Brothers build time is going to be at least 12 months. John Whelan's build time is anywhere from 8 to 12 months. So getting in now locks in today's price, and then you can build your dream home. So that's it for my predictions. What are your predictions? Put them in the comments. I'd love to read those. And if you found value, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And if you want to set up a time to talk about your 2025 goals for moving to the North Metro Atlanta or even around North Metro Atlanta, make sure that you reach out to me by phone or through my Calendly link below. Let's see if I'm right. Happy New Year, everyone.